Hey, Internet. It's Paul. It's Matt. The Dork Lords. We are here today to talk about Mr. Robot, Season 3, Episode 9, Stage 3.
Stage 3.
Not Stage 9. Okay, wait. Got it. Quick-ish rundown of the... It's a weird, because this episode is basically a table setter for the season finale.
Sure.
Next week.
Sure.
But on the other hand, there are a lot of little things that happen in this episode. You know, it's not just like one broad stroke.
No.
A lot of different things are happening, different timelines.
Yes.
You know, it's kind of chronologically odd.
Nobody died, though.
Nobody died?
Not in that episode.
Okay, good point. Nobody died.
So you know.
Although your prediction on Darlene's demise, which I agree with, but I'm giving you credit for the original prediction, is looking closer and closer to true now that she's trapped in an interrogation room and the Dark Army's like, oh, she's a problem and she's trapped in a room all by herself? Okay. So anyway, all right, but yes, so...
Well, it's the fake out.
Right, good point, could be. So how did Darlene get there? Okay, so we go back. We have what's been kind of a constant theme through most of the episodes this season is we begin with a flashback. Not every episode does this, but we've seen some really very important origin story style flashbacks in this season, and this is another one.
Yes.
This one is the origin of how Allsafe came to be the security company responsible for E-Corp.
Yeah.
And we see Price, and we got Wellick, and they're meeting with the Allsafe folks, and we kind of,
and
yeah, I'm forgetting all the names, but yes, the folk, all the parties that we have back season 1, episode 1, basically, are all pre-episode 1ing it, and you can tell that for the most part, E-Corp is not really that interested in Allsafe. That Allsafe is maybe too small for them, and they're like, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you're humoring you with this. We're looking at everyone kind of thing. But then when Angela comes in and basically just handles a mundane task, is going to get this guy's coffee for him, even though it's not really her job.
no.
Price sees
Colby's
her.
an asshole.
Yeah. They definitely established more of that. And she makes, kind of a connection with Price. It obviously affects Price in some way. I feel like what's happening in that moment is Price recognizes her as the daughter of the E-Corp employee that, her mom died.
Either that could be, or
And that he feels...
maybe he's a pervert.
Or would he go, we're going to take a company just because of that? I guess. I mean, maybe. You're right. In the world of creepy conspirators, that one makes more sense. Then suddenly this guy felt really bad about something. That's what I got out of it, but maybe I shouldn't based on this show. I was thinking about a different show, perhaps. Okay, so in my world, yeah, he felt guilty. He was like, you know what? I'm going to make this kind of right. We're going to give business to this company that took this woman on. Anyway, but yes, one way or another, Angela's the reason that he decides we're going with Allsafe, even though
Quite possibly.
Wellick is like, don't do it. This could come back to haunt us.
Yes.
I could run a program. Blah, blah. You think I'm listening to you? Stupid. All right, so that's the flashback.
Yep.
We flash forward, and we've got a moment in time where Elliot kind of comes to having just been Mr. Robot for an indeterminate period of time, and he's like, "What did I do? Oh, what did Mr. Robot do last night?"
Yep.
Elliot is standing in his bathroom. Mr. Robot has written on his mirror, "They own the FBI."
Yep.
Elliot quickly ascertains the "they" is the Dark Army, and it's basically Mr. Robot giving him a message. Hey, the Dark Army runs the FBI. Also, Mr. Robot has pulled up information about Sentinel, the FBI's data warehouse, on Elliot's computer.
That was sent to
Yeah.
by
Right.
by Trenton.
By Trenton. But you can tell that Mr. Robot's been looking at it. When Elliot goes on the system, he's like, oh, Mr. Robot was checking this out as well. And so he's trying to remember well, he doesn't remember. I guess we don't know that he He doesn't really remember what happened.
He surmises that Mr. Robot knows what he's planning to do, that he's going to carry out Trenton's plan of reassembling the data.
And we'll come back to this point because it is, I think, an interesting narrative arc or character evolution arc that we do have finally these two guys maybe working in sync. But so Elliot is trying to figure that out. Elliot arranges for a meeting with White Rose. He wants to...
Not before he meets with Darlene.
Okay, he does the Darlene first. I thought he sent the email out first. Doesn't he set up... He sends something out to say, hey, I've got info, I want to set up a meet. I forgot if he did that before Darlene or after Darlene.
I think, well, if he sent that email, it didn't really matter as much as meeting Irving.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So he meets with Darlene. They have a talk. He's like, look, I want to make this right. We've got a way. Trenton was pretty specific about the files. We can undo the hack. And not we. I'm going to undo the hack.
Yes.
Darlene's like, no. I have more experience with the FBI. I've been dealing with them. I've got someone I can kind of trust.
Even though he's like, well, they're owning them. How do you know?
Yeah, exactly. So he brings it up. The Dark Army.
Doesn't tell her.
Yeah.
Dark Army owns them.
And so she is persistent. And so she's like,
Trust me.
You
don't need to know what my angle is.
Yeah. So the two of them, theoretically, are working on this plan that, and it turns out in maybe somewhat opposing ways, to get this information to undo the hack.
Yeah.
And to kind of fix that problem and damage the Dark Army in some way. So, yes, we do see that Elliot then uses the same hack that he saw Irving pull earlier in the season, where he has OnStar stop Elliot's car, or Irving's car, as Irving is doing a test drive. He's about to sell one of his cars. And basically, Elliot has this little chat with Irving. Hey, I want to set up this meet. Stage 3. What's stage 3? You want to be the guy responsible for not telling him what stage 3 is? And again, you had that great thing of Irving does not get angry in that moment. Even though Elliot stopped his car, has the cops coming on him, ruined his sale, gives him all this, cloak and dagger information. And again, Irving I'm telling you, I'm waiting for that top to blow. At some point, right? You just keep, you're just waiting for there's that lid going to come off. And it hasn't come off yet. He's still sensible, clear-minded, calm under any circumstance, Irving.
Yeah, it's going to be harder now to imagine what circumstance could happen.
I know. What could it be? And that's the thing. Is it one of those things where it's like, the straw that broke the camel's back, where it's just like so many things pile up, and then at the last thing, it's just like, they get his order wrong at the red wheelbarrow. It's like, God damn! I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. I just feel like that's coming at some point. So he sets up the meet. We have, meanwhile, Darlene arranges to meet Dominique at the bar, the FBI agent. And even though they're no longer working together, Darlene sets up an artifice. Basically, she's trying to copy Dominique's badge. She wants to get her security credentials.
So she can get into the FBI herself, presumably.
So she kind of, strings along Dominique with some talk like, oh, you were right. And it's White Rose, but I don't really want to testify about it. But, good point. Anyway, I'm going to go to the bathroom now with this and that. And she tries to use her, some device that copies credential information or something like that. It doesn't work.
Nope.
And so we see her have this moment where she decides, all right, plan B.
Yeah.
I'm going to go hit on Dominique.
Yep.
And so she does. And successfully so.
Yes.
Then we switch back and forth. We have Elliot meeting not with White Rose, but with Grant, the second in command.
Right.
Dark Army guy.
Well, that's after, with Angela.
Good point. Skipping ahead. See, good. This is why you're here, Paul. Paul knows. Yeah, Angela. We said last week she was crazy. She's crazy now. She's loony and gone.
Yep.
And wow, yeah. So she's uber conspiracy theorist. Is now convinced Elliot is working against her, and
really told her about, we can get our parents back, and he's like, that's never gonna happen.
Yeah, right. He does. He goes, that's never going to happen.
We can do it or whatever. She's nuts.
Yeah, yeah.
So they go up to his apartment so she could give him more details, I guess, about a crazy plan. And that's when they see Leon.
Leon is there to take Elliot to the meet.
Yeah.
And so Angela takes that as evidence that Elliot is working with
working
with the Dark Army and whatever. And so she's freaking out, basically. And Elliot, or Leon, again, very casually, but is casually insinuating, if you don't have her leave this apartment, I will kill her in the next few minutes. So Elliot basically forces her out of the apartment.
Yes.
We see her later walking around with a shopping cart.
Yeah, after she's destroyed her phone.
A good callback to season 1 when she finds there's the guy selling a CD.
Yes, that's right.
This time he's selling a CD for eCoin, so that's the extra little.
Okay.
That's the upgrade.
Interesting.
So it's like 50 cents of eCoin. I'll give you the CD. She's like, I'm not buying this CD. So while she's crazy, she does remember the past, and she's not stupid. So she's learned.
Yeah.
So Elliot has the meet with.
And so the people come and take her away.
Yeah, now that's what did you get out of that?
I don't know who those people are. I don't know why they would want her still.
I would think it's Dark Army people. It's either Dark Army or FBI, right?
Right, unless Price has something on his mind.
Okay, well, good point. Since we did see that flashback with the two of them over the key points, maybe since we do have Price is still an active player and it has a major scene in this. This
I mean, we could assume. What we saw with him and Wellick makes you might think, okay, well, he's just going along with this plan, and it didn't work. That's what happens. Plans don't work sometimes. And so let's just make sure everything that White Rose wants to happen happens. But maybe he's not,
Yeah, it's actually probably the most important dialogue happens in the Price, Mr. Robot, Wellick scene, in my opinion. Now, it's a little contrived that they all end up, the three of them together in Wellick's house, I felt like, but whatever. They obviously they wanted to have the three of them have an important conversation, and it's important.
I mean, he just got back home from his ordeal with
he being Wellick.
Wellick just got back home, right? And so that's the perfect time for both of them to go over there.
All right,
fair enough. Price has got to let him know, okay, you got a job now.
Yeah,
and,
so he's the hero.
The conditions of
so
it.
He's now the CTO of the company because he's people like you.
Yay, yeah.
But you're not anything but a figurehead.
Yep.
And it sounds like Price is insinuating he's still in charge.
Right.
He being Price.
Yeah, it does sound like this is my company.
Yeah.
Even though the way that he made it sound when he was talking to White Rose is that he would be forced out as a result of that.
Right. That's what I got out of it too.
Maybe he still, has, he still has
some kind of behind the scenes.
Yeah, probably still has some.
Because there is that line about puppets.
Oh yes.
So
yeah.
So basically, Mr. Robot accuses Wellick of being a puppet of the Dark Army. Like Wellick thinks that, hey, I've suffered enough.
Yeah.
I'm sure that now I've got a reward.
Out for me. Yeah.
And Mr. Robot said, "What are you thinking? No, obviously they have more plans for you. This isn't over. They're not just putting you out to pasture and I'll be happy. Like you are part of a plan
without a wife."
And so I think it kind of gets through to Wellick on that.
Well, I mean, after he sits down and Price lets him know. Because, he was going to clock poor...
Mr. Robot.
Mr. Robot for calling him a puppet.
Had the gloves on.
Who's a puppet? You're a puppet!
Well, I think I think he was going to climb him because Mr. Robot mentioned his dead wife.
That's true.
He brought up Joanna.
That's true.
And
Yeah,
he was
he
like,
was
okay,
like, oh, that's
now
the
I'm
thing
put the
that's
gloves on.
Yeah.
But yeah, he does. He says, you're a puppet, and then Wellick has the line, the Donald Trump from the debates line.
Yeah.
Puppet, not puppet. You're the puppet. So very specific reference there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he's about to beat the living hell out of Mr. Robot when Price comes, and there's a big long talk. You're the figurehead. But the line in particular that I thought was very instructive, perhaps, was Price says, basically, lone wolves can't carry off plans like this. This is, the fact that you thought you could do it, you were just part of it by accident.
You're still thinking like a lone wolf.
Right.
Thinking that you're responsible for this.
And, like 5'9", yeah, we knew about it.
Yeah, we only did it because we wanted it to happen. We were okay with it happening.
And so, yeah, so Price says to Robot, you're still thinking like a lone wolf. So Robot says, okay, how should I be thinking?
Yeah, how should I be thinking?
And Price is like a leader.
And he said, I am a leader.
I am a leader. And then he says, who are your followers?
Yeah, who? Who?
So that's an interesting...
Yes, it is.
I feel like that is issuing in a potential plot point or narrative as we go along. We can chat about that. So, and then he leaves, basically. Yes. Price is like, peace out. I've wrecked your... So what he basically has done is he has put in Mr. Robot's mind, like, he's confirmation. E-Corp wasn't so much the problem as Dark Army is still this bad thing that needs to be fixed or, undone. And so that puts Mr. Robot on this course that happens to be the exact same course as Elliot.
Sure.
And I think we had mentioned this earlier in the season. Like, I wonder if we have a situation where both of them end up working in concurrent paths, even though they can't talk to each other.
I think what we imagine might cause that to happen is the death of Darlene.
Right. And that hasn't happened yet.
No.
But it just might. So, speaking of Darlene, she seduces Dominique. They go back to Dominique's apartment.
Yep.
Dominique puts her stuff, her badge and gun in the safe, her little wall safe, which I thought, well, I guess that's the end of that plan. But no! Darlene knows how to beep, beep, boop, boop, boop. But, of course, it's an FBI agent's house. And FBI agent is not...
Well, she can wake up.
Stupid. Yeah. So she basically catches Darlene in the act. She's like, oh, I get it. You were just hustling me the whole time.
Yep.
Takes her in.
Yep.
And she's now in the FBI, in fact, with Santiago, who is the Dark Army, probably not the only,
stooge.
but the main Dark Army stooge we know of.
Yep.
And she basically spells out the thing.
Yes.
She says, yeah, okay, there's software, there's hardware in your Sentinel area, below us, that can undo the hack. And, if you want someone to stand over my shoulder while I do it, but, let's do it. I'll show you where it is. I'm willing to help you out. What have you got to lose?
Right.
It can do this. And obviously Dominique's like, yeah, what do we have to lose? Let's get this on. But Santiago obviously is like, alert!
Yeah, he tries to use the excuse that it was really not good that she was sexually involved with, an informant or whatever, and sends her off to write a little report and suggests that maybe once they found the information, it might be thrown away because of, those bad acts that Dominique did. But of course, he just buying his time so he can let White Rose know what's going on. Well, through Elliot.
Through Irving.
Through Irving, right. Through Irving.
So he talks to Irving, basically, look, I think Darlene knows who I am.
She knows everything.
She seems to know everything. What do we do? Irving says, well, where is she right now? Well, she's by herself in an interrogation room. And Irving says, like, okay. Something like that. And that's pretty much it. And we're like, oh, bad news for Darlene. We do see in the trailer for the next episode a shot of Darlene at an interrogation table with handcuffs on, and she's lying down. Now, whether she's deceased or she's probably just asleep or whatever.
She's probably in there a long time.
She's probably been there a while. She's like hanging out. But so
dead.
Dead. We also have... So, okay, in this meeting that Elliot has with the second in command, Grant, he brings his laptop, and seemingly stupidly, the Dark Army goes, "Oh, your laptop? Well, we'll just copy it onto this flash drive and then take it back and plug it into our network." Which they do, and by the end of this episode, at least, Elliot is like, "I now control the Dark Army because my malware got in."
Yep.
Now, are they really that naive? I feel like they're not. I feel like maybe there's another another shoe gonna drop there.
It's possible that in Grant's mind, in the meeting, when Elliot is desperately trying to get them involved in this plan.
He's like, stage 3 is basically getting rid of eCoin, is what he tries to set up.
Exactly, yes. Like, what you
eCorp's still a thing.
mentioned this before, and now you want to do this thing. Huh.
I need to do it with
when we
White Rose.
first met, you said 2-step plan.
Yeah.
You didn't say 3-step plan. So in his mind, since he was thinking, that's it, I've had it with this Elliot guy, I found out from Irving that his sister's in the FBI willing to say, let's fix everything. That doesn't sound right. So, he's trying to convince White Rose all along that Elliot is not to be trusted. Why are you trusting this weird guy? We can find people who can do this stuff. Why do we need to use that weirdo? White Rose, after being very frustrated by the fact that she can't get her plans in the Congo the way she wants.
Apparently the Congo, the mines, that whole thing is still stalled even though the UN voted.
Yes, and perhaps it's because of the, all the explosions.
All the explosions.
It can't make anything happen, like that she insisted that it had to be done then. So what would she have, what was your plan, she asks Grant, and what is it? Yeah,
Grant.
He says, "Oh, kill Elliot," like you said. He said that he could.
Which we brought up last week, the fact that they had mentioned that earlier in the season about, hey, when our plan's done, he can be like we did with his father.
Yep.
And sure enough, that comes back around in this episode. And there's a more or less an agreement where White Rose...
It seems like she's like, what's your plan? And then, seems to be saying, follow your heart or do something... Follow your instincts or trust yourself or something like that. It's weird.
Because he says, we'll redouble our efforts. She's, that's all I wanted to hear. And then he says, and she's like, what does that mean? And then we don't hear what the and is, but we can guess maybe that the and is eliminate loose ends.
Right.
A la Elliot. But the thing is, in all this talk where Grant is definitely suspecting Elliot, and now they know, White Rose and Grant say it out loud, he's lying. There's no such thing as a stage 3.
He says it, yes. Well, she's like, this sounds weird, yeah.
Yeah, so they know that. So it's the idea that they took his computer files and just stuck them into their system seems naive for the Dark Army to do. Which is why, at the moment anyway, we are led to believe that it worked and Elliot has control. And he thinks he has control of the Dark Army's systems. It sounds too simple. We'll say that. But we'll see. Maybe. And that's where that leaves off. And we leave off with... Right. So that's kind of it. The Dark Army is saying, we're gonna maybe, bump off Elliot. Elliot's like, I have control of the Dark Army.
Probably Darlene as well.
And And Darlene is trapped in the FBI's offices and with the guy who's a member of the Dark Army, knowing that she needs to go away.
And Dominique's still perhaps not... Like before we thought, I know. She seems to know now.
That's true. No. She got even more evidence this time. If she's like, why is Santiago not really jumping in on this? And we were just told that there were members of the Dark Army that are in the FBI. She's getting there.
Yeah. We'll see if she does before or after Darlene dies. She might be the one who saves her, though.
That's true.
It's like maybe, and maybe it's somebody else who dies. Maybe Angela.
Whew, she's already kind of mentally dead.
You're trying to...
I don't know that there's coming back for Angela. I mean, I suppose you could write it in that she recovers, but without years of therapy and I can't imagine that she would just be like, somebody could talk to her and go, actually, White Rose was manipulating you the whole time.
What?
Oh, there is egg on my face.
Wah, wah.
Okay, I think she's kind of past a point of no return in a lot of ways. I mean, just in terms of coming back to the Angela that we knew for the first few seasons.
Right. I mean, yeah. Since a lot of what she expects to happen is really impossible and probably can't happen.
Yeah.
It's like, what else would shock her? The only other surprise is a gun right in front of her face that she still might think, oh, this will be all right.
Yeah, I don't know. So it's interesting where that storyline is going, because she just seems like she's not even a person right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, all right, so back to Mr. Robot and Elliot kind of working to the same ends.
Yes.
We see, I'm just thinking that maybe it's a situation where, that line we talked about where Price says, oh, you're a leader, who are your followers? Maybe there's a situation where Mr. Robot thinks, well, maybe Elliot is my follower. Maybe I can make Elliot my follower. I will inspire him. And so this writing the thing on the window, on the mirror, putting the plant, like maybe they can start to attempt to work together. Like, in other words, Mr. Robot will start leading Elliot in a way that the two of them can work together. I don't know. I mean, yeah, is that a stretch to think that maybe Elliot is the follower in that situation?
He needs other people following him. I think that's what he needs.
You need a superhero hacker to help him.
Perhaps certainly he feels guilty about Trenton and Mobley. And, once he finds out.
And the 71 buildings blowing up.
Right, I know, but people who followed him who got hurt. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
People that were involved with him who have suffered as a result of that. That's what I'm talking about.
Gotcha.
It's like he wanted to do his plan without, involving Darlene, and then she decided to do it. So he was like, okay, well, you have to be really careful. First sign of trouble, you have to bail. And she didn't. She thought, okay, let me do this risky plan of trying to seduce Dominique.
An FBI agent.
Yeah.
Of course, he doesn't know about that at this moment.
No, he doesn't. But I'm just saying, though, that he's still trying to keep people out, and it was.
But it'll be interesting to see what the two of them can accomplish working together. I guess, Mr. Robot and Elliot working rowing the same boat in the same direction, as opposed to constantly fighting each other.
Yeah, no, I don't think of them as two different people.
Okay, I kind of do, I guess. Okay. Just remember back to not that long ago, Mr. Robot was throwing Elliot against the wall to keep him from doing stuff, so the fact that he's like, all right.
But that doesn't help him. It's like there were points when...
What can Elliot do if he's not being thrown against the wall by his own mind?
In the first season where they were together talking to each other.
Yeah.
So having that happen certainly would be good. But, you would want it to be He's not Superman. Have other people helping him. And I can't think of, it's like... unfortunately, it's probably not likely that the people who would be muscle could be muscle for him. It's hard to believe that Leon would go on his side or Irving would go on his side. So
Wellick could go on his side.
Yeah, but he's not muscle.
No, but he's going to be CTO of E Corp.
Right. Yeah.
So there'll be he'll have an in at least in some ways.
Right. They might need to convince Price.
Yeah, maybe. It is interesting. Price is willing to mingle with the hoi polloi a little more than White Rose is. It seems like he shows up at Wellick's house,
right.
And even when Mr. Robot, when Elliot is there, he doesn't just leave. He's like, okay, I'm out. Like he's like, I'll talk to you guys.
Right.
All right. Here's how it goes. So maybe he's somebody that. Maybe that's the Angela angle somehow.
Yeah, who knows? It would surprise me, but I think I feel like it's going to be something we haven't seen or something we aren't expecting. Is what makes a plot against White Rose, believable.
Gotcha.
We'll see.
So we've got the season finale coming next week. Very exciting. yeah, it could go in a lot of different ways, which is what's great about this show.
Yes.
Is it does keep you guessing.
It still could do. I mean,
it could be so depressing. By the way, too.
Well, no, I'm just leaving the space for the improbable, which is time travel.
That's true. Time travel. Angela's convinced, and she just got picked up by some folks. They're gonna be like, "All right, we're putting you in the time turner. You're going back." We got Doc Brown. Yeah, like I don't know. I'm going to say no. I'm saying no to that. If that happens, it's a whoo. That could be a jump the shark moment. I have a feeling.
What?
You don't think it's a jump the shark moment if they suddenly put time travel in this show?
I don't think it's a jump the shark moment.
Okay.
I think you have to make it work, right? And typically in jump the shark moments, in the classic jump the shark is when a show has run out of ideas.
Oh, okay. I got you.
That's it.
I'm not saying they've run out of ideas. I was thinking like a misguided idea where they're like, hey, we could turn the show in this completely different direction that really doesn't make sense with the rest of the show.
Right.
That's
but,
kind of,
I mean, making it, well, some people might say jumping the shark is, a mistake that you can't go back from. But in classic, they could have come back from that if they come back from Fonzie jumping the shark in Happy Days. They could have done.
I actually remember watching that episode.
Me too.
Back in the day.
Me too.
And I was a kid, so I was like,
Ooh,
is he gonna fall into the shark? Yeah. I thought, oh my God, Fonzie! I've never known that you could water ski before, but now I'm really hoping your skills are good. So okay, I mean, obviously they could do a brilliant version of time travel stuff. It's just it'd be kind of like if they threw time travel into Law and Order or something. It's like we're a grounded show, and we're just this is the way people. Suddenly, right, Downton Abbey. Suddenly, like there's a character who stop, no. So anyway, but we'll see. We'll see. That's the thing. I'm saying that's not happening.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. I'd be shocked.
Okay.
I'm not saying.
I'm saying also
either.
I don't think I want it to happen.
I probably don't want it to happen either.
Yeah.
But it's funny that one thing we could see is a metaphor for it to metaphorically happen.
Sure.
So for since the one
in her delusion, she could also be
they
like,
could
my
do her
parents are
delusion,
here.
which typically we've been seeing Elliot's delusions. So I don't think you've seen that episode yet in the second season, wherein he has a delusion because he's getting his ass kicked that he's in a TV show. So
that's right. She could have the delusion that her parents are there, and
or if it would be his. I still don't know if we would see any delusions that weren't Elliot's. I think we still pretty much have been an Elliot-centric show. So
until it jumps the shark, time travel and Angela's delusions, and the show becomes called Angela's Delusions. All right, so yes, exciting episode coming. We look forward to it. We will be here to break it down for you, and then after that, Last Jedi coming out.
Oh yeah, right. I forgot.
So get those tickets. Weekend? Get those tickets
this weekend.
It's next weekend.
Okay.
So we'll be doing that too. All right, anybody?
I'll just walk into the theater.
I'm hoping there's a tie-in, like Mr. Robot in Last Jedi. I assume like he'll show up and he'll deprogram the First Order, and they're like, because they are the uber dark army. Okay, we'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.